It's interesting. China's got well-developed laws for heritage. There are 3 values that are identified in Chinese heritage law, and these are the scientific value of the heritage place, its artistic value, and its historic value. These are 3 very good values, but as many people have pointed out, it doesn't have social value enumerated or identified as a value. But nonetheless, social value is a kind of implicit value, nor does it have economic value. And the Chinese site managers and so on are really leery of saying economic value is a value that should be within the law, because they say it would be used as an excuse for economic developers to exploit the heritage. We don't want that. So nonetheless, it's a derived value, if you like. So those values are enshrined in the Chinese law, but it doesn't tell you how those values shall be preserved in a particular site. So the China Principles provides a toolkit, a methodology, guidelines under the law in China for the preservation of heritage sites. Notice we say heritage sites because we don't deal in this instance, because another department deals with it, museum collections, for example, although exactly the same methodology and criteria apply to museum collections as to heritage sites. Nonetheless, we developed excuse me, the China Principles for heritage sites. And the idea is that the values will be enumerated, understood, written down from multiple perspectives with multiple inputs of stakeholders, not just the experts, but the local community, others, and then a statement of significance will be written. What is the significance of this place? In all of its significances, historic, scientific, artistic, social, all of those will be enumerated explicitly, exactly, as best you can, with inputs from different constituencies. Conservation, and the China Principles then says, thou shalt not impact the values of the site as enumerated in the statement of significance through any interventions. In other words, the objective is to preserve the significance of the site. Whatever you do should not, whether it's tourism, whether it's fixing a wall painting, whether it is taking a sample, whether it is whatever you do. The objective is not to impact or alter the significance. It's that simple. So, like many other simple things, the actual application is a big challenge. It is important, I mean, and certainly the culturally attuned team member who speaks the language, Chinese or Egyptian or Arabic or whatever, is critically important. But the partnership thing, if you wanted to float and not sink, the ship that doesn't sink, I always use the ship analogy for partnership, because it's easy to launch a ship, but to get it to make the voyage, you know, that's really what you want, without it going down halfway. The partnership does have criteria that are without which you will not be successful, and these are common objectives for sure, absolutely common objectives. The need for total honesty and being culturally attuned, of course. But without those, you're not really going to make any progress. There are 4 or 5 things that just are necessary. Stability in the partner organization is also another key. You can't have the head of the antiquities department, the site director, where you're working, change every 6 months or every year or even every a year or two. That just doesn't work. You've got an entirely new person to deal with who doesn't necessarily agree with his predecessor. In fact, he may have ousted his predecessor. So, you could be up against something you don't even know you're up against. It doesn't work that way. And we've seen this in a number of our endeavors internationally. So stability of partner leadership is very good. Stability from the Getty side is good. Having to have an agreed upon agenda, forthrightness, and having a facilitator, if you like, on your team who can speak the language and can be a diplomat between the two sides. All of those things are, I think, are really good. And the last one, is, of course, is the one I always like. Was I'm a good bargainer, they say. You have to negotiate ab initio the contribution from the partner organization. What are you putting on the table? Here's what we put on the table. Not under the table, ever, but on the table. And there have been not so subtle approaches for under the table benefits for the partners, but those never go anywhere. And when that happens, if that happens, no matter how subtly it's introduced, my antennae raise and I say, well, Getty Conservation Institute never, and it's absolutely true, never transfers money. And then I say, you know why? Because as soon as money's on the table, all the eyes are on the money. They're not on the relationship. They're not on the objective of the project. They're on the money. And that is poison. That's poison in the well. Forget it. We bring skills, we bring expertise, we bring partnership, we bring the desire to work with you. Those are what we bring. That's what we offer. And we will pay for our side, but we want you to contribute too. We want you to contribute skills. You want your partners, staff members, and cover some of the costs if you can. And usually when that's established at the beginning, it's successful.